that's where I'm looking at, is just what kind of promises are people making me, and are they realistic? Come on. Because if people are not making legitimate, truthful promises to you in their marketing, it's a big breakdown of trust. And I find it very hard then to believe people's programs are actually going to deliver, or their coaching and their promises on the other side are going to be there as well.
Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 117. I talked to Rue Anderson, and Rue, I believe, is originally from the UK, but he's also a fellow nomad. So as I record this introduction, I believe he is cruising around Australia in a VW bus. And then I think his plan was to go to Barcelona. We talk a little bit about his plan in here, but I love it. And I bring it up because it's part of the allure of the online business lifestyle, right? And during this interview, Rue and I go in depth about, the advantages, the disadvantages, the real life struggles of building an online business. And by all means, we love it. Both of us do. Right? I mean, I'm sitting here in Whitefish, Montana, because I want to be here. And then in 3 months, I don't know where I'll be with my wife and my dog, but we'll be somewhere where we want to be. And that's the cool thing about it. And it's just a lot of, obviously there's a lot of freedom comes with that lifestyle. But there's a whole different bucket of, problems and stress and challenges and all that. So very, very authentic, very open, and really talks about how to get started and be successful in the online space and what to look for as far as don't get taken advantage of, right? And there's a lot of people out there promising things that they probably shouldn't be promising. And it's easy to fall in those traps at all times. But if you have a little bit of common sense and listen to some of the advice within this podcast, you'll be all right. So yeah, really exciting. Rue's a really great guy. And before we get into it, I do want to read a review because that's what I say I do. So if you do take time to go to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast, as well as write a nice review, I'll read it. So that's as simple. It's going to take you 2 minutes, right? Just stop right now and go to iTunes and hopefully leave us a review. A good one. A good review would be great. So this one comes from the Speed Guy. I think I know who that is. I really appreciate Eric's line of questions. He is a pro at leading a great interview. I enjoyed sharing ideas in fitness, future, and past. I really liked having open conversation and not just answering pre-programmed questions. It was an honor. I hope to get the chance once again. And if that's who I think it is, Lee Taft, man, anytime. You're welcome back on the show anytime, and thank you for leaving such a wonderful review. So without further ado, let's get into this. And by the way, this show is brought to you by Certified Course Creation. If you have a great idea, right? If you have the expertise that you built up over the years and you're ready to stop trading your time for money, perhaps it's time to build out an accredited online certification. The education field is ripe for disruption, and you want to be there right at the forefront to share your knowledge and make a good amount of money while you do it. So go to certifiedcoursecreation.com, check out what they offer, maybe start with a free discovery call to start pulling out and teasing out the ideas that you have for a certification. And check it out. It's well worth your time. So episode number 117, Rue Anderson. Enjoy the show. I know I did. And we're live. All right. Rue Anderson, my friend, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, buddy. It's great to be here.
Yeah. And, once again, I'm going to say the most annoying thing to all my listeners is we just had a great conversation pre-recording. And I'm excited. I hope we can get it right the second time as we reiterate it all. But let's do this, Rue. Give us a quick, bio on yourself, and then we'll get into some of the topics that we want to cover today.
Quick bio, super quick bio.
Oh, what as long as you want, man. We got an hour at least. So, yeah.
I always like to clear that up because there's a long story and the short story.
Yeah, give us the good stuff, man.
Give us the good stuff. All right, let's rewind it back because I haven't always been in the fitness industry or a fitness professional, and really, I didn't. Like many guys and girls as well, I didn't really plan to become a fitness professional and to get into the industry. Really, rewind around about 10 years ago. I was just coming out of university. I got myself an engineering degree. I thought, yeah, this is okay. Doing the typical sort of get the degree, get a job. I'm air quoting here, get a job, get a career. And I became a survey engineer, and everyone was like, that's a great job, man. Well done. You've made it.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, I was depressed, completely depressed. I just was not happy with the way my life was going. Really wasn't. I wasn't happy with my career, fed up working for a boss. And I had started to grow this big interest. Okay, a passion for health and fitness. I'd been training a lot earlier than this, but I reached a stage in my own sort of training that I started to compete. I was doing competitive bodybuilding. I was doing competitive powerlifting. So I was taking this stuff serious. And with that, to get to that sort of level, I was also studying, consuming all this information, reading every night, doing some courses, certifications. And I thought, you know what? How about I ditch this survey engineering career, get into the fitness industry? So I did my level 3 personal trainer qualification, which is the absolute bare minimum we need, certainly in the UK and within Europe, to be able to train people in a commercial gym. And I got that so that I could start my own business, really. But I'd always had this inkling of going online, because when I was doing the research and studying, I wasn't convinced that the traditional PT model, go to the gym, get some clients, show up every day, was really that great compared to my survey engineering job. Yeah, it was my passion. It was going to interest me a lot more, but I just didn't feel it was quite cutting it in terms of that's worth quitting my job over with my career here.
Yeah.
So I then came across the online stuff. It wasn't as popular around about 7 years ago when I first started. It wasn't as popular as it is now. It's a big buzzword, as I say, in the fitness industry. But I found a few people who were doing it, and I thought, okay, this looks like, they're at home, they're blogging from home and just spending some time doing some videos and social media updates each day. That looks much better.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of research, nowhere near the amount of research I should have done. Quit my full-time job, sold my car, sold my flat, and really cut ties with all of my overheads. And I started my online business. I literally got a laptop, bought my domain name, set up the website as we all do, those typical steps, and started exceednutrition.com. And without going too into the long story here, I just started creating content for my online business. That's what I could see others doing. They were blogging, podcasting, all of this fun stuff, social media. And I started to do this as well. And what I find is that with my content started to resonate a lot with the fitness professional, health and fitness coaches. Yeah. And I find then that they were reading my blog posts. They were joining my newsletter. They were following him on the social platforms. And that's when I started to cater more for those guys, when I realized that my message, the impact I was having online, was actually helping those guys more than the general public, believe it or not.
Yeah. And what year was this, roughly, when you got?
This was, when I got it started, was 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, 2012. And that's when I started then saying, okay, well, what do you guys need from me? I'm here for you. I'm here to help people. What can I create for you? And that's when I started then really starting to tailor our business to the fitness professional, which now in 7 years later, that's really the focus right now. I've created a nice little suite of products and services to help the fitness professionals improve their businesses and get better client results.
Yeah. Awesome. And what I like about too is, I'm curious, the feeling when you sold your flat, your car, all of those things, was it, because you minimalized, how did that feel? Was it scary? Was it like, you could breathe better? Well, how did that feel in that moment in time?
Going back, if I'm truly honest, Eric, it was one of the hardest points that I've had so far in my 31 years on this planet. I'd reached a pretty low point, as I'd said, with my life, really, the career, the relationships, where I was living and stuff. And I was a bit depressed. I was unhappy.
Sure.
So it was difficult. It was hard. And fundamentally that what pushed me over the ledge to go all in, because that's not what I recommend to people. I'm not saying like just go all in with online coaching or anything like that. It's not my advice to people. I was very lucky to make it work. I'm very grateful that it was successful. But yeah, it was a difficult time for me. Very, very scary, very nervous, and quite a few sleepless nights at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you make that decision? I mean, when you go back, now we talk about it because it was 7, 8 years ago, and it sounds so easy and so obvious, right? But back then, and like, how did you make the decision? What were the factors? Did you progress yourself forward and be like, I don't like the path I'm on? Did you do any risk analysis to yourself, or was it just purely an emotional, like, I got to change and this is where I'm going? Like, how did you make that call?
Well, I was always building up to this happening. As I've said, my own interest in it grew around health and fitness and passion. And it was something that I started to gain some qualifications in, certifications in during my full-time job, with the notion of, I'm going to quit this at some point.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I really hit that sort of low point that I go all in. I actually wanted to open a gym, which is really common, right? Everyone gets to this stage as a fitness pro working with, we're like, I'm going to open a gym, I'm going to open a studio. That always seems like the first logical step forward. And I did all this business plan. I got a partnership. I went to the banks to get financing, and it all fell through at the last minute. And that's when I thought, okay, this sort of offline stuff, it's risky. Opening a studio, it's risky. It's expensive. It can go wrong. The online stuff just seemed like a no-brainer at that point. It felt so much easier to get going with that. I wasn't waiting for my partner. I wasn't waiting for a bank to say yes. I could do all of this with a very small budget and on my own.
Yeah, that is a huge point. So, having owned a facility for almost a decade, many times, the gym always did well. I did well, but there was always this thing in my head that was like, okay, if you lose 20% of your customers in a matter of a month, right? Or, it was in California, earthquake, roof caves in, right? All kinds of things. I'm like, I'm stuck with I need a crack every month. That's, upwards of $20,000 per month, right? So, high capital every month. But, now that I'm focusing online, it's almost all profit. You take time to reinvest into your systems and reinvest into your marketing and things like that, of course, but it's not just this huge chunk that's gone, right? Every month. And it's quite liberating, because also it gives you a little bit of freedom. Like, okay, let's say, I take a little money off my marketing and advertising, and I cut back, and I lose a few clients, and maybe I take a dip in profit. It's not going to kill you. It's not total devastation. And I think that's the attractiveness of, online versus, the brick and mortar model. I just wonder, the future of what gyms look like compared to what the future of online looks like. It's a curious thing, right? I mean, I have a million thoughts of what's going to happen with the gym setting, who's going to take it on. Is it going to go a race to the bottom where it just becomes a commodity and everyone just needs, access, really? Or is it going to go high-end experience, which I think it will go? I think things in the middle probably aren't going to do so well. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on before we get more into the online stuff. What do you think is going to take place with the brick and mortar?
Brick and mortar is difficult to say. It's not really my sort of niche, so to speak. But I do speak, and we have a lot of customers ourselves who are running brick and mortar businesses too. It's difficult. There's going to be a demand for it. People like that personal connection with a trainer, with a coach. That's a given. So I'm not going to say that's going to. I don't think that's just going to fizzle out entirely.
Right.
But I think the biggest competition to the offline, the brick and mortar stuff, may be with the growth of the online scene in particular. But I don't know about, as you're traveling around the world, I'm seeing a huge increase in these budget gyms opening up and dominating these towns and cities with thousands and thousands and thousands of members. Like you say, I think people want that access. And then I think you don't want to be in the middle of that. You don't want to be trying to compete with those guys.
No.
I think there you say particularly for the small business owner in the brick and mortar industry, you want to be going high end, as you say. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because right now I'm on a little island off the coast of Vancouver, and there's no really gym. There is one gym here. I pay for access, right? It's like $20 a month, and I have a little key card, and oftentimes I'm the only person in there. In fact, only once have I had anybody. So I have my own gym, right? I paid $20 a month for it. And then also there's an interview, and I think those will pop up everywhere, and it just become more economically feasible for people who know what they're doing. And for me, it depends on what your training is. For some people, they need that social outlet. For me, I just need to go put my headphones on, listen to a good audio book, grunt it out, and get my work done, right? But there is also a guy his podcast is going to be released before this, of Air Gym, right? So it's Airbnb for home gyms.
Oh, wow.
So it's like now you're starting to see technology connect, finding places where people can get access more easily. So it's just going to be really interesting. And the ones I know that are gyms that are thriving and I believe will be around for the longest time is those who are really focusing on amazing client experience from top to bottom, right? Just unique, full service, relationship based, thing that people crave more and more now. I think that's the beauty of it. So anyway, I know we're not here to talk about gyms. Let's talk about online because it's so attractive, right? I had Jonathan Goodman on the show not too long ago. I know you guys chat as well. And, you two are both leaders in that particular area. Everybody wants to get online. It's just so sexy, right? Like you and I we're traveling all around, right? We have that freedom. You're moving to Barcelona possibly, right? Talk to us about that really quick, because that's exciting.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you're saying about the online stuff being really exciting, and it is. And it's something that I've really been able to tap into over the last couple of years, myself in particular. It wasn't what got me into the online scene. But yeah, last few years, when was it? Maybe in 2015, I left the UK, where I was living my whole life really up to then, and Ireland. And I started doing a bit of traveling around Europe. I lived in the Netherlands, in France, in Italy, in Spain. I think that was about it there. On that little tour, had a little run around Europe basically, which was amazing. Came back to Amsterdam because it was just freaking awesome. And then at the start of this year, I've been out to Bali, and I've just been to Barcelona, and then I'm going to Australia to do a tour of Australia again in a month's time. So that's really, really fun, and definitely one of the whys now of driving me forward with my own sort of online fitness business.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I love to hear that stuff. So you started in the online world in 2012, right? I would say early adopter. Right?
I think so. Yeah.
What's changed over the last 6 years? I know, like I said, a lot of people find it sexy, seductive, the online training, but it's actually, there's a lot of people out there doing it now. What do you think? How have you seen it change? And then especially, I guess, maybe even over the last 2 years specifically, what do you think's been the biggest challenge for online fitness professionals?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I've really seen radically change over the last couple of years. One's a pro and one's a con, so to speak, to the whole thing. I'll start with the pro. Pros are always nice.
Yeah, they're fun.
The pros is that the software that's available to us is at this all-time high. The innovation with it, the options, the sort of the automation, the real intelligence, like the AI as well, that's now becoming available to us, to everyone. You and I, tiny little business owners, one-man bands, potentially even for a lot of the trainers getting started these days, can access the same software that huge companies are also using, right through to Facebook ads, right through to something like Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign for email marketing, right? These are the big players, and we can all access them now. And we're seeing then people creating even more easier to use softwares like, okay, WordPress is too complicated. All right, try ClickFunnels, right? It's nuts. It's nuts. So we are getting the ability more and more to be able to take ourselves online and to share our message online, and to ultimately create businesses online, profit from it as well, which is massive. Yeah, but it's definitely becoming easier and easier. The second one is the con, so to speak. And we were touching on this before we hit record. And that's certainly a message that I try and get across to the trainers and coaches interested in online, is that just as it's easy for us as trainers to become online trainers and coaches online. It's also easy for other people to get online and to start marketing to us and start saying, they can promise to become 6-figure coaches and 7-figure online trainers, which I'm sure we've all seen the ads in our newsfeed for these days.
Yeah.
And I receive countless messages. I literally do, from trainers that say, Roo, I'm interested in your program, or I've just, connected with your stuff, but I've done this program in the past. I've been with this mentor and I've been burnt. I didn't get everything that I was promised. And that's damaging the industry. It's damaging our industry. It's damaging the online scene in general. And that just seems to be increasing constantly, more and more. Every week I'm hearing of more people flooding this sort of online space within the health and fitness industry.
Yeah. It's interesting. Someone comes to mind because I just got added to his email list somehow. And I believe he just scraped LinkedIn, pulled all the emails, it's a big gray area. People, I wouldn't do that.
It's a bit black hat.
Yeah, it is. I didn't like it. And, but I'm staying on the list because I just want to see what this guy's saying, because he's that person, hey, makes his videos, driving around in a Bentley, right? People probably already know who I'm talking about. And I won't say any names, but I'm like, man, that's just, it doesn't sit right with me, because I don't care what the conduit is that you work with people. Let's focus on the craft, being a great coach, right? Being a great fitness professional. Ultimately, that's what we need more of. And that's what's going to establish success on the long haul. And, there's all these sure, yeah, you need to get your first 10 clients, right? You need to pay the bills. That's absolutely correct. But everyone's in such a mad rush to get to these numbers that I just don't think it's sustainable. It does bother me. So how do you, if I'm a fitness professional and I'm looking for someone to, show me the way, right? I want to start getting there faster, but I'm willing to do the work, right? What am I on the lookout for? What are the signs that maybe a guru or a mentor may be full of it?
Truthfully, I find it very, very similar, Eric, to changing your body, right? Building a business, in my opinion, runs very parallel, from my experiences anyway, to building a body. I didn't get to my strength goals, to my physique goals in a month, 2 months, nor did I do it in a year or two. And I haven't been able to get my business to where I wanted to in a month or two, not even a year or two, if I'm totally honest with you. It's taken me years of graft, right? So it's exactly like the fitness industry. Those people promising the quick fix solutions, the quick results, the 6-figure incomes in 90 days, or complete my course and you can have a Bentley like me, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's ringing alarm bells, and it should for other people. But I know we are attracted, just like the general public are attracted to the quick fix solutions. Yeah. Oh, there's a 30-day program for abs, or this 90-day program. I'm going to go for the 30-day program.
Yeah.
We are hardwired that way as humans. That's just the way we are for the most part. So for me, you've just got to change your mindset, put up those barriers a little bit around the marketing that's going on. So typically, if I'm seeing big, huge, lofty goals or claims by people online, I'm very, very skeptical. Because even myself, I'm looking for people for me, I'm looking for mentors. I'm looking for advice, even 7 years later. So I'm still having to filter through all of this. And what's really funny, and you're probably similar, is that when you're at a level starting out, you've got all of these become a 6-figure coach or trainer, people advertising to you. When you become the 6-figure guy, you've got the 7-figure guys and girls.
Yeah,
so I've got all these people now saying, become a 7-figure guy. And like, wow, when does it end? I bet when you get to 7 figures, it's like, come and do 8 figures with me. it's really difficult to filter through all of that noise. But to me, that's where I'm looking at is just what kind of promises are people making me? And are they realistic? Come on. Because if people are not making legitimate, truthful promises to you in their marketing, it's a big breakdown of trust. And I find it very hard then to believe people's programs are actually going to deliver, or their coaching and their promises on the other side are going to be there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, extremely powerful. And, I've been doing this online thing for about 14 months now, and it's taken, it's taken about a year to get traction. Well, it's taken a year to figure out what direction I want to head in, right? Like now I see my vertical, right? I see where I can go. Now it's a matter of, and I've coached people through this process because I understand the struggle. I sold my gym. I have some runway, right? Where I can have that luxury to kind of look around and figure out where I want to go. But building a gym wasn't easy either. And, ultimately once you find that spot, right? That kind of blue ocean, your niche, whatever you want to call it, right? And then you start going, then you have to figure out what are you going to do every day on a daily basis that will get you there in a year, right? Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, that's a year? Now I have to do these things all the time? You're like, yeah, it's usually something like create content, coach, right? And escalate people through your funnel. Like if you do those things every day, right? You'll probably be successful in the long run. That and adjust your relationship with failure. I think that's the biggest thing. And I'm curious, if how do you coach people through this process, man? If you're saying, hey, success will come in not 3 months, but maybe 3 years, how do you address this with people? How do you get people through that mindset of like, this isn't a 90-day game, right? Mm-hmm. This is a 9-year plan.
Mm. Well, a big part of it is through my own marketing. Yeah, it's very similar to how I did it. And I kind of learned this that when I was doing Exceed Nutrition and I was trying to appeal to the general public, I was taking a very similar approach that now I do with fitness professionals, in that I wasn't selling the quick fixes, et cetera, et cetera. And through my marketing there, I learned that the message that you put out to people on your social, in your email newsletters, in your content, that's what people are consuming before they become customers predominantly, and in your sales funnel. So if you can put that message into your marketing messages, that this isn't a 90-day fix or a quick fix money-making scheme, then you attract the right people and you repel the wrong people for you. Those wrong people are going to go off to the quick fix guys driving the Bentleys. But for me, there's still that tribe, there's still that audience out there that's going to appeal to your unique message as well. So yeah, all of those touch points online, they've got to be congruent to your overall message, your overall vibe. And that's how I tend to differentiate myself as well.
Yeah, I love that, man. So you have, let's talk about your products a little bit, because I know you spend a lot of time on them and they're great. You have, I was looking at your website this morning again. And so you essentially have like a beginner set of information, like, hey, here's what you need to kind of get an idea of what to do. Right. And if I'm completely wrong, just stop me. And then you have, kind of like, okay, now is the meat of it. And then you have like your master class, which seems to be, okay, now you've reached a certain level of success. Let's really go for it now. Is that kind of correct, or am I off?
A little off.
Okay. Well, explain what it is that you do. Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right. I hold nothing against you. Yeah, look, I created the Exceed Masterclass for fitness professionals who want to plan, they want to create, they want to grow online. So it is covering a lot of the different stages of that, whether you're at the beginner planning stages. We've got the roadmap, literally the roadmap, step-by-step guidance on getting through that stage. But look, also, if you're growing, you're ready online, the Exceed Masterclass is also got the training, got the materials. It's got its own dedicated roadmap to taking you through the growth stages as well. So really, I've tried to build a real all-encompassing membership site, which is really what it is at the heart of it, a membership site for anyone at any stage there as well. So ticks a lot of boxes, this the membership site.
Yeah. Well, let's pick an avatar, and I want to get, just like an example of. I'm just going to kind of create somebody in my head. I would love to hear. I'm going to use a colleague of mine. He's out of the UK, James Dilly. He works with martial artists, right? So he's found his niche. He's got online trainers, or he's got online clients, but now he's looking to essentially, really, really build a customer experience for that particular clientele, that niche, and then grow, right? Like what for someone like that, they've found it, they're doing the work, but now they just need to grow. Like what advice do you offer to those people? Because I think there's a lot of people out there, like that, who have gotten past that big point of finding their niche.
Yeah, I get that, definitely. And that's a great place to be. I know the name. I was a little bit lost your question there because I was thinking, James Diley, I know that name. But anyway, where'd you go when you well, it's difficult because really when you get to that level, it's worth having someone like myself or yourself, which you'll probably be doing, look at your business, assess your business, have a bit more of a dig inside of it in terms of usually it's a couple of key things that you may need to just change up or implement that will take you to that next level of growth, if that makes sense. So, like I could say it could be team. So if James is doing all the work right now in his business, but he's got a bit of budget that he could put towards hiring a full-time overseas virtual assistant, that could be a huge game changer for him because he could free up 40 hours of tasks himself. And what can he do? Well, he can go into the higher level tasks. He's now operating the business at a higher level, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or if you say to me, James is also, so that's one of them. Team is definitely one of them. For me, I doubled my team this year and we doubled the business. It's not the only thing we did, but it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I brought a big team on board and it's definitely something I recommend ASAP to trainers to do. Like, can you outsource some of these tasks that you got to do every day? Because successful businesses are not one-man bands, which very typically in the fitness industry, we're just led to believe that that's okay, right? You're the coach, you're the trainer, you're the business owner. So that's a big one. For me as well, I would definitely look at the actual business model that someone has. So what are they? What is the products? What is the services they are running right now? Are they running selling a $9.99 ebook? Is that where their profit's coming right now from their online? Okay, how about we add in a coaching service here for $300 per month? Boom, you take the business to the next level. So the business model, what's going on there? Maybe carving out more of a product suite. Like you said, I agree. Pick something for a year. I always say, get one product that's solving one person's pain point and do it for the year.
Awesome.
But maybe in James's case, he's ready for another product, another service in there as well. So that can help a lot. I don't know about you, Eric, but I'm a big automation guy. People comment a lot on my stuff about being automated. They get a personal reply from me. They're like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, I've really, really harnessed automation. I think that came back from when I was a much smaller team trying to leverage myself, and the tools out there allow us to do that. So I definitely look at the automation that's in there. What I'm talking about specifically is, say, for example, a lot of people get started online and they use like MailChimp, Aweber as their email marketing service provider. It's okay. It does what it says on the tin. It lets you send emails. But when you upgrade to something like ActiveCampaign, which I use, it's next level for your automation. It's insane what we can do in things like ActiveCampaign and some of the software out there that's really behavioral based. So different touch points people are having with your emails, in your funnels, on your website, they're all interlinking, connecting, triggering different sections of your funnel and getting the right message to the right people at the right time. So the automation side of things is huge.
Yeah.
So team, product suite / business model, and automation would be scaling.
That is gold. That is gold, Rue. So, when you're building up a team, especially virtual assistants, I talk to a lot of people who should have virtual assistants. Maybe they're intimidated by the process of hiring one, creating the SOPs, things like that. How do people okay, let's start this. Someone recognizes the fact they need a VA. What do they do first?
The first thing that you want to do is you want to spend 1, 2, or 3 days writing down the tasks that you're doing each day in your business. Mm-hmm. Everything, checking in the email, putting that blog post on, recording that podcast, etc., etc. Yep. You want to write all of those down. Then you want to grab a highlighter and you want to highlight the ones that somebody else could do, i.e. your VA. So can someone else schedule that blog post to go out? Yeah, I think they can. Yeah. Can someone edit that podcast or, create that image in Canva for your social media updates? They can. So I would go through there, and then you're left with a list of these highlighted tasks that you can outsource. And that would be the first step in saying, all right, okay, so I can clearly see that these tasks that I'm doing, I need some help with. And then that's what you would take the next step in advertising for. So it's a VA, but you also want to make sure that they can do these tasks and you know what they're expecting to do and vice versa. And then you can go out and take the next step in getting one.
Yeah. Do you use Upwork? Do you recommend them, or what do you use for finding or posting jobs?
Well, Upwork is more of a freelancer type gig. So, hey, I need a podcast editor. Can you do this once a week? Okay. Personally, all my team, when I'm talking about my team, they're full-time staff for me. Mm-hmm. So I actually use onlinejobs.ph.
Okay.
Yeah. So onlinejobs.ph, which is a really, really cool site. You can then put your requirements up on there and people apply like a typical job. You can interview them. You can offer example tasks. Hey, can you do this? You can check the quality of the work, and then you can decide upon who might be best fit for your role. So Upwork, no, it's great if you just need something done on a one-off basis, in my opinion. If you can, your budget stretches, bring someone full-time on board. Bring them on board, pay them a full-time salary. Like we're hinting at here, we're using overseas guys. So it's not like paying someone in the States or in the UK the same monthly salary, but you're getting just as good a job. I can guarantee it. And, overseas workers are really fun to work with, really nice people. My whole team is in the Philippines, and they're some of the nicest, friendliest people that I know. And I go and visit them. I bring them over to Bali, and they are remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a virtual assistant. We do everything actually through Upwork. And Carol's amazing. If she just all of a sudden was not available for me, a lot of things would come screeching to a halt, and I'd have to go back and do a lot of work. Like this podcast would never take place ever if she wasn't helping me with all of the things and that I do for it. And then I have a gentleman out of Ireland. So Carol's out of the Philippines. Bren, my editor, is out of Ireland. And he does a great job, with the podcasts. And, it's really opens up a world, I think, that fear of, I can just get it done faster if I do it myself. Right. That's the thing that most people say. It's like, well, I don't have time right now to do this whole, seemingly intimidating process of finding a person, hiring a person, figuring out what I can have them do. But man, it pays back 100-fold once you do the work.
For sure. I mean, this is the final quarter of this year, and I work in 12-week years, so to speak, as in quarterly focus, essentially. Yeah. And I wrote down team. That was it. What's my focus the last quarter of this year? Team. Yeah. So I think if you can prioritize it, and if people like myself and you are focusing on growing our team and putting that energy in as a priority, like you say, it does come back. It does back. We doubled the team, doubled the business this year. Things work slower. There's definitely a shift there in things. Things work slower, but the output is higher.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about next year, because as of today is what, December 5th, we're recording 2018. So by the time this releases, it will be 2019. The market for online fitness professionals, right? Close to saturated, huge opportunity. How do you see it? I mean, there's a lot of people going out there and trying it. It's kind of like podcasters. I read this interesting statistic that, in 2018, there was 600,000 podcasters. 43% had not released an episode all year.
Wow.
It's like there's a lot of, here's the point. People start and then they don't continue, right? Getting started is easy.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, that is my advice, in that everyone can go and add online trainer to their Instagram profile.
Right.
In 2019, right? I think they have, right?
Yeah.
So people are messaging me similar to you and saying, is this saturated, Rue? It's not saturated. Everyone's just added online trainer and hoping they can pick up a client or two through their Instagram profile. That's not an online fitness business.
Right.
That's wishful thinking. Right? So for me, if you're prepared to stick at it, it's there for the taking. You could go and do what I've done a lot quicker now over the last 7 years and achieve that still. No, it's yes, there's more people doing it. There's more people trying it.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying at. So I think it's there for the taking. No question about it. And, like I said, the tools are better than they were 7 years ago when I started. The education, the know-how is better than 7 years ago when I first started. So it's really there for the taking in 2019. No question about it.
Yeah. What do you think as far as technology in 2019? And it's the future of fitness. That's what we call this show, right? And so I got to bring up technology because that's such a big part. But is there any, and you touched on AI is obviously in it more than we know, more than we recognize, right? It's in our Facebook ads, right? It's in our freaking phone, right? I mean, our phone is AI. But what technology do you think in the upcoming year in 2019 is really going to be beneficial to the online trainer? Maybe something that's going to be slightly competition for the online trainer. How do you see technology playing into it all? What are you watching right now?
Okay, well, I think there's definitely scope for the coaching options there online in 2019. What I'm seeing right now is definitely a general increase in health and fitness apps coming through. Mm-hmm. They're just like the online trainers. People are now getting easier access to app creation and these sort of real done systems, real complete systems. And some of them are looking pretty sexy as well, right? It's like, we got healthy recipes in this app, get meal plans in here, access our programs. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Is it going to nudge out the fitness professionals online offering ebooks and offering coaching and consulting? No, I don't think so. Again, I think some people, like I said, with the offline stuff, still prefer that little bit of human interaction, a little bit of connection, some support, guidance, a little bit along the way there. So that's where I think if you did have a big idea for a health and fitness app, now's the time to get in on it. Definitely. What am I also watching? I'm also watching Facebook very closely as well. I think personally they are the number one online marketing platform, and they have been for many years. It's no surprise there. But they're constantly evolving. Every month they are bringing out some new feature that improves our marketing as online business owners. And something that I caught wind of the other day is that they are looking very soon, maybe in 2019, to introduce advertising into the WhatsApp platform.
Whoa.
So think about that. How big is that? We forget that how many billions of users are on this WhatsApp platform.
Yeah.
We haven't monetized it yet whatsoever.
Right.
And they may be branching out into the WhatsApp platform, which is kind of cool, pretty exciting stuff. So that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye out. I know if they did start WhatsApp messaging and advertising, I may be an early adopter in on that. And I'm an early adopter with most of what Facebook are doing these days as well. I'm pretty keen to test on that platform and experiment myself.
That's interesting because I talk to a lot of people who are like, Facebook's on the decline, right? It's too crowded. I use primarily two things to get my voice out there, and it's Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm just a fan of LinkedIn because that's a lot of my audience is there, and I just like it. It's not as fluffy. It's more business like, more professional.
No cat videos.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I talk about it all the time. Yeah, that's why we have a Slack community, right? It's why we build a Slack community. I don't want to get distracted. It's for me, really. I don't want to get distracted by cat videos every time I go into business. But yeah, a lot of people are saying, well, Facebook, the algorithm's changed. It's screwed over, especially the fitness professionals over the last 2 years. But you don't feel that way. You think it's still the biggest opportunity out there.
I don't feel that way. I haven't seen my costs rise.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think people maybe need to get a bit smarter with their marketing. I think that what we're seeing changing is marketing, not so much the algorithm and blaming Facebook. Oh, I created this really shitty squeeze page and I just posted an ad saying, opt in for my shitty free thing, and nobody's opting in anymore. Oh, there's a surprise because everyone's cottoned on to shit marketing online.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to put their email in no more.
Right.
So how do we do that? We have to improve our marketing. We have to get smarter. We have to adapt and evolve. And I've been able to work around that now. And, you touched on it earlier on that you think, with the brick and mortar stuff, the key to success is going to be building relationships. I feel that's exactly the same online. We got to build relationships. We can build a relationship with someone first and then say, hey, I've got this downloadable thing that's going to help you even more. It's met with a completely different mindset. Yeah. You've built up that know, like, and trust. So that's the way I'm working around it. I'm building relationships primarily. It's going to be a huge thing for me in 2019. It has in 2018 already. Put the relationship first. It's not just about opt-in pages, squeeze pages, sales pages, and funnels. It's about relationships. How can we build that relationship first?
Yeah, I love that. And here's the rub. Relationships take time, right? It takes time investment, right? That's just the way humans work. It still takes 9 months to make a baby, right? It still takes a long time to build a relationship. And, I think a big thing that people miss, and I'm going to say this because I'm more guilty than anybody, especially during my gym owner days, is I would lose sight sometimes with my passion for marketing and new sales acquisitions and not pay nearly enough attention to my current clientele. I think that's a big part of it is people are missing yes, marketing is extremely important. People don't come out of nowhere, right? You still have to go out and attain new clients, but really, really focus on how you're doing with your clients, create an amazing experience for them. And then you get referrals, and referrals are the know, like, trust is done, right? When you get a referral, someone did it for you, right? Yep. And that's the most powerful thing. So maybe if we focused on one additional thing in 2019 as a fitness profession, as an industry, is what if we start focusing a little bit less on lead generation and a little bit more on referral generation, right? And wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it's got to save you a lot of bucks as well.
Yeah. A
lot of advertising bucks. No, I totally agree. I agree. And Facebook is also a great platform for building relationships. That's why I still see it as a key marketing platform. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So give us, because we're starting to run a little thin on time. When you're building relationships online on Facebook, how do you do that? Like, what are some tactics maybe you use to do that?
Well, a lot of it is using content.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what your ideal customers need.
Yes.
And what they want.
Right.
Very simple, right? We're taught this right back at the start, but that doesn't really change. So for me, I want to be creating stuff that's valuable to the people I want to serve. And for me on the Facebook platform, That's all the various different types of the content that we can do on there. I'm loving video.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loving, just even normal post updates. I'm loving just creating blog posts and posting them, sponsoring them on the Facebook platform. All of these different things that we can do on there, do them. Facebook groups. There we go. Build relationships there. All of that stuff. Messenger, chatbots, kind of close in there with the Facebook stuff. Again, that's allowing us to provide value, reach our audience. So that's where I start with as well on the Facebook platform. Show that content, show that value. If you can do that before you ask for the sale and even an opt-in, now you can start to make some traction there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Roo, anything else you'd like to tell the fitness community out there before we let you go? This has been great. It's been so much value, and I've written down copious notes, even though I have the recording of things I want to do right after. I'm going to see what's going on in WhatsApp, get reacquainted with that. I communicate a lot on it because, I have a lot of international people that I talk to. That's fascinating, man. What else can you drop us before we let you go?
Oh, that's a tough one. What can I drop on you before we go?
How about a mindset thing? When you face a Monday morning, right? And maybe you see all of the potential work that you can do. How do you select the most valuable thing for your week that you're going to focus on and accomplish?
That's a good question. I've definitely worked on my productivity over the years. One of my favorite quotes that gets me pretty fired up is, there's a myth that time is money. In fact, time is more precious than money. It's a non-renewable resource, because once you've spent it and you've spent it badly, it's gone forever. So kind of coming back to, thinking about the productivity side of things, I'm always conscious of the time that I'm putting into the things that I'm doing each week. And I mentioned that I like to work in those 12-week blocks, 12-week years. You need to read that book if you haven't read that book, 12-week year. And basically that forces you to set one real overarching goal, one focus point for that 12 weeks, and you're breaking it down into all the sub weeks and the days. And really, when it comes to Monday morning, it's like, okay, what can I do today? What can I do this week that's bringing me closer to that 12-week goal? So I set one for the last 12 weeks, which is my team. So it's like, Monday, what can I do today to improve my team? All right, I'm going to have one-to-one calls with them. Oh, I'm going to enroll them on some training. You get the idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Roo, where do people find more about you online? Where do you send them now?
Look, you guys are podcast listeners, which I think is awesome. I really respect podcast listeners because I have listened to podcasts nonstop for the last 7 years. I have learned staggering amounts from people. And it's kind of my way of giving back as well. And with that, I run my own podcast. It's called the Fit Pro Masterclass Podcast. Just search that into iTunes, into Stitcher, into what other SoundCloud, whatever you like to listen on. Give it a search. Type my name, Roo Anderson. It's also on there as the personal trainer podcast. I think I put it in there as well. Just have a little search for me on there. You'll see the icon. I've got over 100 shows, I think, on there. I don't know how many you're up to with your show.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot.
Between my two, I'm at like 400.
Oh, well, if I combine my both, I'm up there too. Yeah. But this one's dedicated to the fitness professional. And really, if you like listening to podcasts, you're trying to gather as much information, particularly around online coaching, online fitness business, that is the show for you. If you're looking to really dig deep, you want to find out more about what I offer, head over to the exceedmasterclass.com and you'll find more about our online coaching. We've got free toolkits, we've got free workshops on there, and of course, our signature membership site for those very serious.
Awesome, man. Well, Roo, thank you for coming on. I think you and I both want the same thing for the fitness industry. We want, to elevate it through solid principles and fundamentals and good philosophy too. So yeah, man, it's been awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Hey, fitness fans, don't leave yet. It's your host, Eric Malzone, and I have a quick favor to ask. Actually, 3 favors. So, number 1, if you're a fan of our show, I ask you to do something that takes under 3 minutes. Go to iTunes, please, and subscribe to our show. Please, please, please. It means so much to us. It's so important. And then give us a favorable review. We would really, really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how much it means and helps us out. So I know it takes 2 minutes of your day, and it means a lot to us. So please do that. Number 2, go to our YouTube channel, our Fitness Marketing Alliance, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel there. Number 3, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've released, share it on social. That's huge. That's a big deal for us. And we put a lot of work into these episodes, trying to give you great actionable content for the fitness industry. So that would mean a lot. And that's it. So we have some big plans coming up for this show. I'll be talking about that in the next couple episodes, but thank you so much for listening. It means so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from everybody. Eric, ERIC, at fitnessmarketingalliance.com.